Okay.
There we are.
Robert, that's your first name.
Rob, I go by.
Okay, thanks for having us over and showing us this machine. You said it's your uncle's creation, correct?
Yes, so my uncle and my dad started a gas bar in 1934, and he, about 5 or 6 years later, built a shop in behind the gas bar and started designing and building a lot of stuff. And this Spirit of Tomorrow car was one of his first endeavors. He was mid-20s at that time.
So very young age.
Never went to anything past grade 12. Just that when he finished his grade 12, that's when he started building the gas bar with a lot of wood and etc. out of my grandfather's barn, I gather. And my dad was about 2 years younger, and so when my dad graduated from grade 12 in June of 1934, then they both, next day they opened the gas bar. And then my uncle branched out from there because he had all these ideas of what he wanted to put together, and the car was one of the first ones.
That's really cool. So all the major engineering skills, if I can call them so, were just learned on the job and just day by day kind of
It just
thing?
seemed to be a natural thing to him.
Yeah.
You know, long before my time, because I was born in 1952, but from what I heard, he would just, his mind was just geared that way, and he would come up with a concept, and then whatever was available, he would put these ideas together, and this was his idea of what might be the car of the future.
That's fascinating, especially for the time. And I was especially interested in the technique to study the aerodynamics of the car, being not having wind tunnels existing. You said that they used the water instead. Can you tell us about this process here?
That's the story I was told. So he took chunks of wood and started planing them down and whittling them down into all sorts of various designs and shapes, and then put these pieces of wood into fast running water, and just all the time watching the eddies that came out from behind, and came up with what he thought was the most aerodynamic design, which is what you see with the car.
And what can you tell us about what's under the hood of this car, or shall I say in the trunk of the car?
Okay, so he started with the 1938 Dodge frame, and I don't know why. Maybe he probably just had one around. And then when he came up with this shape, he got a friend of his named Johnny Norton, who lived in Oak Bay, a suburb of Victoria here at that time, and was a wizard with aluminum. So he got Johnny to build this aluminum body to fit on this 38 Dodge frame, and then away he went from there. He put the engine in the rear, and at that time he had a Ford flathead 8 engine. He put a 2-speed differential in it, so it's a 3-speed on the tree, they call it, but with the 2-speed differential, now you've got a high and a low, so now you've got 6 speeds and transmission, so everything in the rear, so which is a big challenge, because now it's before the days of hydraulic clutches and that sort of thing, so you had to run linkage right from the front of the vehicle to the back to the transmission, and
all cables
and steel linkage all put together, and here we are 80 years later, and it's still running.
Yeah, it's crazy. We took it for a ride maybe a month ago now, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had never tried that kind of transmission style.
Yeah.
Yes, but
yeah.
Overall, like considering the year of the car, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
It drives and runs fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And definitely a unique scene anywhere you go.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there was issues because how do you cool a radiator that's in the back of a car beside the engine, and you know, he was a pilot, so you'll see in the car things like retractable handles and gas tank cover and the radiator cover are all plush with the body itself, and so all these thoughts. He's got again, I guess, with his pilot background,
a bit of aviation that goes into this project as well.
And you have to crawl into the front seats to get there. The back seat fits 4 or 5, however friendly you are, and but things like so an altimeter, so you've got the height above sea level, you got which direction you're going, north, south, east, west, sort of thing. All these things that came from his aviation background, I guess. Yes.
I like the style. I mean, I have a private license myself.
Yeah,
so I can link a bit to that.
Right.
But you also said the car was featured at an expo. Is that correct?
Yes. So Expo '86, which was in Vancouver, got hold of us because the car is fairly well known in car circles, and asked if they could put it on their land plaza for the 6 months of Expo, and so we made a deal with them, knowing it was going to get beat up fairly bad over there, but they
just from sitting outside and the people
and aluminum, you know, it's very, so you just got to hit it really hard, and it dents, and there's kids and everything everywhere, and sitting out in the weather for 6 months, and scratched up, you know, because people always do keys and all sorts of things, you know, just being there, there's people are people. So after Expo,
full restoration.
We folded it back up. We talked to a bunch of the old timers around this part of the world, and what color do you think? Because my uncle drove it for 20 years as his just go-to car, and it went through different colors over those years, and he put a fin on it at one point at the back, thinking it would help the car to corner. Never really lived up to that expectation from what I gathered. So anyway, we came up with a green and gold color it is now. Most people said that was one they thought was best, and we didn't put the fin back on, but it has seen a couple of things since 1986. My sister and brother-in-law took it down to Hot August Nights in Reno, and it went over very well down there. They trailered it down, and we get it sat in the Provincial Museum in Victoria for 4 or 5 months one winter.
So she's been a bit around. She's traveled a bit.
I don't justify it enough. I should get it up to more things, but not quite my lifestyle yet. But people that do know it take it to the odd show here and there, and it's very hard to take in a parade because again you've got a clutch cable and linkage running all the way to the back, so it's very hard on the leg if you're going fast and slow and stopping all the time.
It's more for cruising speed.
Yeah.
And Rob, tell me again the name, Edge of Tomorrow.
So it was my uncle called it the Spirit of Tomorrow.
The Spirit of Tomorrow.
And it got nicknamed the Teardrop just because
of the shape.
Looks like a teardrop falling. Yeah. Right.
And I was wondering, what happened at insurance when you were trying to insure this vehicle? What did they say?
Well,
because it's one of one, right?
Yeah, that was a bit of a story. So I have 3 old vehicles, and there's this policy in BC now where if you have 3 or more old cars, you can just buy one insurance and you're good for all 3, which made a lot of sense to me. So as a collector car, you've got to be authentic with what it was originally. So I have a 1967 Cougar that I bought in 1970. Everything is as was, so that was slam dunk. I've got a 1940 Plymouth that my grandparents bought new in Saskatchewan. It's all original, so that was easy. And then we got to the Spirit of Tomorrow, and and okay, so what is it? Well, it was vintage, which is just basically 25 years or older.
And you're good with that, pretty much.
Yeah, but nice try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. And yeah, we'll take it for a spin.
Great.
And see how she drives.
Yeah. That's right. Good.
Awesome.
I love it how it's done. It's too cool.
Okay, so key on, and then that's the push button start over there. And then this is the fan that we turn on to cool the engine.
Okay. So what I like is that it's larger on the front, so the back is kind of following, right?
Yes.
This is too cool. These inventions. The best. We're going right here.
Yep. Brakes are not real good, so take it gentle.
I'll be careful.
No power brakes or anything.
So Rob, you said, well, of course, no power brakes, no power steering either.
Yeah.
And
no hydraulic clutches.
Yeah.
So that's why it's reasonably difficult to put from gear to gear. And
yeah. When did they swap the engine?
1967 Ford had just come out with the 289 engine, and so my uncle swapped it out for that, and that's what's still in it.
Yeah. Was it much more horsepower, or?
No, it's just I think that's pretty well the smallest V8 that Ford made.
Yeah.
And there isn't a whole lot of room back there to put anything too big. So I imagine it was as simple as that. It's not a car you want going too fast after all these years, so just something that makes it run. I don't know why Ford as opposed to anything else, but
I guess that worked for him.
Maybe he was a Ford man, yeah. But then again, you got the 38 Dodge frame, so that's what he started with.
Yeah, I know, it's fun. It's a bit of a mix.
Yeah. Probably as simple as somebody had one of those around. And
shall we just go straight?
No, turn left here, sorry.
Okay, yeah. And then this one?
Yep.
Okay, good. And then the turning signal here.
Yep.
On the shifter lever.
Shift.
Yeah. So we have,
And our air guide says we're just above sea level. Humidity.
Are we going to throw the flaps down and just take off with this? I drove a 1970 Corvette.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 3 weeks ago, and the steering feels very similar because
okay,
just I guess the engineering of that time.
Yep.
This even earlier actually.
Yeah.
I like that the kind of cockpit, it just goes all around.
Yeah.
It's like driving a Boeing.
Yeah. Well, that was probably his air background. Yeah.
This is a very, very cool shifter.
Yeah.
Not the usual thing. We don't have this in Italy at all.
Yeah. This is where my grandparents built their house. That's the church they built, and their house was up there.
Wow. They built everything around here.
Well, they were one of the first ones here. It was 1900, right?
Wow.
So, same as on that Oldfield road they built. That was my grandfather's cousin who settled over there and built a big house over there and a church and long driveway down to Key Crossroad. And then when he started selling off the property, he just called it Oldfield Road because I guess he built it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go left just up at the top of this little thing here. Yep.
close the video here, guys. And yeah, once again, thanks Rob for showing us.
Wonderful opportunity. Thanks for doing a story.
Yeah, my pleasure. And yeah, while we pass this little horses here, make sure to like the video if you liked, and subscribe if you haven't and you're new to the channel. And we'll see you in the next one. Okay, ciao.
You want me to wash this down?
Doesn't matter. I think I can sneak by. Probably a little easier though.